After learning I scored 698 on the college entrance exam, my online gaming boyfriend broke up with me. With grades like that, and in engineering must be a tank. He sneered and joked with his roommate about how ugly I was forgetting to turn off his mic. Then our teammate raised his gun and mowed him down. You're unlucky to have messed with my direct junior. At the start of the semester, when we met in person, I fell silent looking at the 187 centimeters tall hottie before me. Dude with a face like yours calling someone else a scumbag, how shameless can you be? One after the college entrance exam results came out, I stayed up all night gaming. Mom and Dad were too busy celebrating and spreading the news to relatives and friends to pay any attention to me. By morning when Philip called, my voice was hoarse. He got straight to the point. Patricia, let us break up. Philip and I had met by chance in a game. He's average in skill but quite wealthy, the type who pays to win. With his sweet talk and charm, he confessed to me on the night of the college entrance exams, and we got together. Who would thought we'd break up in less than a month? Alright, I didn't press the matter. After all, we never met in real life, might as well consider it like raising an electronic pet that died. Philip seemed relieved, so we'll still keep playing the game together. I agreed. Just after finishing a match, Philip changed his profile picture. I didn't pay it much mind, and was about to log off. A teasing voice suddenly came through the headphones. Yo, Philip, why do you suddenly change your avatar? Did you break up? Philip's mic was actually left on. But before I could remind him, I heard him scoff. Of course we broke up. Do you know she scored 698 on the college entrance exam, and she said she's applying to a university's computer science program. With grades like that, and in engineering must be a tank. If I don't break up now, I'd be scared to death when we meet in person. The other teammates fell into collective silence. Philip asked in confusion, hey, why aren't you guys moving? Bang bang bang. The god-tier teammate beside him suddenly fired 3 consecutive shots, headshotting Philip. Philip instantly flew into a rage. Are you insane? Why kill me? His voice abruptly cut off as he finally realized everything he just said had been overheard. A languid voice drifted over lazily. Bullying my direct junior, tough luck for you. How this teammate never uses voice chat, but their skills are absolutely top-notch. In my mind they've always been the cold and aloof type. Who would thought the first time they spoke would be to stand up for me. Just then my phone started vibrating wildly. It was a call from my best friend Florence. I exited the game and had barely answered when she started bombarding me with incoherent excitement. Patricia, you are my goddess. You actually scored 698 first in the city. Take me to heaven with you. Ah. I held my phone further away. Stop it, sis. Just got dumped. Florence, I repeated what had just happened. He probably thinks I'm ugly. Florence was furious. What is wrong with him? If the school belle of number 3 high is a tank, then what does that make us? Forget it. I couldn't be bothered to argue, remembering what my skilled teammate had said earlier. So I privately messaged him. Senior, thank you so much today. How about we exchange WeChat contacts? I'll treat you to a meal when school starts. A minute later, the aloof senior graced me with a single word reply, fine. 2 getting headshot in front of everyone undoubtedly embarrassed Philip, who immediately quit the team. Unexpectedly, Philip sent another message that evening. Get online, one more match. Seems he was determined to reclaim his dignity. Quite the temper on him. I glanced at his teammate's ID. This username looks familiar. A lazy voice came through the headphones. Professional gaming companion. I jumped slightly, rubbing my ear somewhat awkwardly. This guy, after playing together for so long without saying much ever since standing up for me, he seemed too lazy to type anymore and just started using voice chat directly. Still feeling a bit unaccustomed. Looking at Philip's newly acquired gear, I couldn't help but worry. Can we win? He's dead set on turning the tables. Must have spent a fortune on this. The godlike senior asked lazily. Want to beat him? I didn't hesitate, of course. So what if you're a pay-to-win player? He seemed to chuckle softly. Alright. 9 minutes later, Philip and his expensive professional gaming partner got headshot together. He cursed and immediately logged off. After a long silence, I finally sent a message to the expert. Senior, if I study computer science at a university, can I become as skilled as you? Not necessarily, the expert actually replied with a few more words than usual. Depends on your aptitude. I've got it. I'll treat you to breakfast for a whole month, senior. The gaming god turned cold again, and didn't reply. After the results came out, my life became busy once more. Interviews, college applications, driver's license exams. There was so much to do that I barely logged into the game for over a month. I didn't expect Philip to message me again. Patricia, we broke up on good terms. There's no need to quit gaming just because of me, right? Me, what nonsense are you spouting? When I finally logged into that long-abandoned account, I discovered rumors had already spread like wildfire. Several teammates who often played together immediately sent me messages. Patricia, you're finally back. It's just a breakup, no big deal. Philip is so shallow for only caring about looks. Good riddance. I was utterly bewildered. No, I've just been really busy lately. But no matter how I explained, nobody believed me. After being confused for quite a while, I finally understood why this was happening. Philip had found himself a new girlfriend. That new account he has been playing with, that as his new girl, I heard the profile picture, is actually her. She studies broadcasting and hosting. I watched for a while, then couldn't bear to look anymore. This skill level is just too awful. Even with R&B support, it's hopeless. It's painful to watch, and I feel bad for Philip having to patiently coax and carry them along. To cleanse my eyes, I ran off to team up with the pro. The pro sometimes seems extremely busy and other times appears completely free. I was very straightforward about my request. Great God, my eyes are dirty. Can you show off some moves to cleanse them? 5 minutes later, the great God and I teamed up again and wiped out the entire opposing team. Now I was finally satisfied. Just as I was about to log off, that deep lazy voice sounded in my ears again. Seems like you really liked him. I thought I must be hearing things. What the hell? The gaming god explained they all said you cried yourself hoarse the day he broke up with you. Me, but now he has got someone new, and they look pretty happy together. Don't think about him anymore. He is not worth it, that scumbag. Me, this is beyond ridiculous. It's ridiculous squared ridiculous to the extreme. I said expressionlessly what would make me so desperate as to cling to him with so many men at university. Aren't there enough for me to choose from? The gaming god, realizing this sounded inappropriate, I corrected my wording. Forget it, one shouldn't be too greedy. I'll just take the most handsome one. There was silence on the other end for quite a while before a low chuckle came through. You've got quite the ambition. 3 at the end of August, when school started, I dragged my suitcase to register at the university. The sun was blazing so hot there wasn't a hint of breeze. I adjusted my baseball cap and kept walking. A university was great in every way except the campus was so huge it nearly killed me to walk across it. Suddenly a male student jogged over from nearby. Junior, are you a freshman from the foreign languages department? I looked up and saw him freeze for a moment, his ears quickly turning red. Thank you, senior, but I'm actually from the School of Computer Science. Could you tell me where their registration desk is? His eyes widened in shock, and it wasn't he, until I asked again, that he hurriedly replied. Oh, just walk straight to the end, and turn left. That box looks heavy. Want me to walk you there? I politely declined his offer, and kept walking until I finally found the place. Several guys were slouching lazily in their chairs when they noticed me stop. One of them clicked his tongue. Looking for Nicholas Jr. Bad timing. He just went to the advisor's office. You might want to come back later. Nicholas, who know I handed over my ID. I'm here to register. The guys lounging under the shed all turned their heads in shock. Holy shit, I had just settled into the dorm when Florence's message came through. Patricia, I miss you so much. Whoa, the thought of not seeing you every day anymore is tearing my heart apart. Classmate Florence, if I remember correctly, your school is right across from ours. I don't care, Florence. Wine, do you know you made it onto University A's confession wall on your very first day? Soon there'll be so many more people competing with me for the campus beauty. Me confession wall. I clicked open the link, and sure enough, someone had secretly taken my photo and posted it there. And there I was dragging my suitcase under the scorching sun, practically melting like a dog, never expecting to get photographed. Holy shit, this year's freshmen are this gorgeous. With looks like that, can we just crown her campus queen? Already no objections. Which department is she in? Foreign languages. Someone please get me her contact info. On my knees begging. Stop dreaming, you upstairs. This junior is from the computer science department. Those damn guys don't know what kind of dumb luck they've stumbled upon, damn it. No way, the computer science department already has a Nicholas. How could they get another one at this level? Both the campus heartthrob and the belle are in their department. Is there no justice in this world? Nicholas, that must be the Nicholas the senior mentioned today. Seems like he is quite popular. Oh right, I almost forgot to message the gaming god. Senior, I've arrived at the school to check in. After a short pause the reply came, sorry, I was busy just now, and didn't see your message. You're already here. Then you go ahead with your work. Senior, all my roommates are here. Now we're going out for dinner together later. A few more minutes passed before a small list came through from the other side. These restaurants near the West Gate are pretty good. Tisk, having an acquaintance is really great, so convenient. My roommates are from different departments, but they're all nice people. After introducing ourselves, we got ready to go out together. I never expected that as soon as I sat down, Philip suddenly sent me a photo, making my heart skip a beat. It was unmistakably the one taken of me today. For Patricia, is this girl from your faculty? Reading Philip's follow-up message, I felt a complex mix of emotions. Yeah, how did you know? Philip chuckled. Haven, you heard she's become super popular recently. Even our university is talking about how university got an exceptionally beautiful freshman this year, and she's in the computer science faculty. This guy didn't he just get a new girlfriend, and he is still asking about this kind of thing. I heard a little about it. Unexpectedly, Philip directly sent me a red envelope. You're in a perfect position to help me get this girl's contact info right. Me, there are many ways to reconnect with an ex-boyfriend, but this was the one scenario I hadn't anticipated. One to your girlfriend get mad, I countered. Philip seemed unfazed, grinning. It's just making friends. Why would she be angry? As long as you help me get it, I'll double the red packet deal. I accepted the red packet without hesitation. Alright, I'll give it a try. Anyway, we exchanged contact info months ago. Earning this money wouldn't weigh on my conscience. Just as I set down my phone, one of my roommates suddenly let out a small gasp. Is that Nicholas? I turned my head to glance out the window. Though I didn't know who this Nicholas was that they were talking about, I guessed immediately. Too conspicuous, the guy was tall, probably over 6 feet, with a slender build, broad shoulders, and long legs. He stood by the roadside with a few others, head bowed as he looked at his phone, seemingly waiting for a ride, though his full face wasn't visible. His high nose bridge, flawless jawline, and slightly tousled hair all exuded an air of effortless cool. It's impossible to look away. My phone suddenly lit up. It was actually a message from the gaming god. How is the food? I sent a hot pot photo over senior's recommendation, totally trustworthy. Pro player Chin's old hot pot. I couldn't help but marvel inwardly, as expected of a senior who'd spent 2 years at university, recognizing it at a glance. My roommate suddenly got excited, whispering with a small scream, "On Nicholas, seems to be looking our way, ah." I instinctively looked up and saw the boy across the street suddenly raise his head to glance in our direction. However, before they could get a clear look, a car stopped in front of him. A guy patted him on the shoulder, so he put away his phone and got into the car with them. As the car drove away, the 3 roommates were still marveling. Running into Nicholas on the very first day, what kind of luck is that? He is so handsome, now I finally understand what they mean by unattainable flower on a high peak. I timidly interjected, so you all know about him. The three of them looked at me with utter shock. Wait, Patricia, he is literally the most famous guy in your computer science department, how could you not know? He is super handsome, tops the GPA rankings every semester, and plays badminton incredibly well. Countless girls at our school have thrown themselves at him, but not a single one has managed to win him over. I was really hoping you'd put in some effort to get closer to Nicholas. How can you be like this now? Me that night, after washing up, I surprisingly logged into the game again. The gaming god was actually online. Shouldn't he be busy with the new semester? How do you still have time to play games? I was completely honest, military training starts the day after tomorrow, so I wouldn't have time to play anymore. The pro player, I suddenly remembered my roommate's earlier words and couldn't he help asking another question. Senior, do you know Nicholas? The pro player between you and him, who is better? The pro player. 5. The gaming god, didn't he reply for quite a while, and I started to reflect. Men care most about their pride, especially someone at his level. It was so inappropriate of me to ask so directly. Senior, don't worry, I was just asking casually. I'm not the kind of person who judges by looks. In my heart, you'll always be the top talent in our computer science department. The gaming god finally replied. This time, who taught you to use metaphors like that? How come my declaration of loyalty gets rejected? I genuinely think he is more impressive. So I had to take a roundabout approach, then let us grab dinner after military training ends. The gaming god gave an okay sign. I never expected to embarrass myself beyond belief. On the very first day of military training, I somehow managed to march with my arms and legs moving in sync. Alright, that girl over there, step out of line. The drill instructor couldn't take it anymore and yanked me out directly. Everyone take a break. Where you stand, you come here for extra practice. So, under the collective gaze of the entire computer science department, I walked out in utter shame. The computer science department had far more men than women. Our class had only 8 female students to begin with. Being singled out like this for public humiliation made it impossible not to stand out. The more nervous I got, the worse I performed. After correcting me over a dozen times, even the drill instructor finally succumbed to my rhythm and started marching out of step 2. I couldn't help but point out, instructor, I think you're doing it wrong too. The instructor's dark face suddenly flushed with a suspicious redness. A low chuckle suddenly came from beside me. I froze. This voice, why did it sound so familiar? Turning my head, I saw a tall, straight-backed figure passing by the playground, still holding a badminton racket. I recognized him. ISNT, this the legendary Nicholas. He must have just come from the badminton court, his dark hair slightly damp with sweat, his t-shirt clinging to his body, outlining his firm muscles. I had to admit, the girls at a university really had sharp eyes. This level of looks was indeed unmatched. The moment I focused, our eyes met. He probably didn't expect to be caught red-handed by me, raising his eyebrows slightly before giving a faint nod of acknowledgement. My heart inexplicably skipped 2 beats as I immediately averted my gaze, silently clenching my fists. Was he laughing at me too? 18 years of dignity, completely lost in a single day. The news that I got extra training during military drills spread in just one day. Even Florence called me directly. Ha ha ha, Patricia, have you seen the little video of your military training posted online? Even your drill instructor got thrown off by you, ah ha ha. Judging by the angle, it was probably filmed from the stadium bleachers a bit far, but still clearly capturing my duck-like, same arm, same leg marching. I closed my eyes in despair. That wasn't me. Florence chuckled. Your military training is so strict, not like ours. We spent half the day singing marching songs. By the way, can I borrow your gaming account? I've been so bored lately. Since I wasn't in the mood to play, anyway, I simply gave her the password. I got the feeling the drill instructor had taken my performance as a personal challenge, determined to train me properly. So for the next week, every time after drills, I was kept behind for an extra half-hour of practice. After training that day, on my way back, I took out my phone and saw the confession wall buzzing with discussions. Announcement: the campus belle had extra practice again today. Just saw her coming out of the field. Truly no one is perfect. Seems God completely sealed off her athletic nerves, huh? To be fair, she is still gorgeous. Even if she has become a laughingstock, she is still the prettiest one in the spotlight. I heard she scored 698 on the college entrance exam. Even top scorers have things they're not good at. I feel better now. After scrolling for a while, I gloomily turned off my phone screen. Just as I was about to enter the milk tea shop, I received a voice call from Philip. Hello, what's up? I answered weakly. His tone was hesitant, oddly, carrying a hint of nervousness. Patricia, I remember you scored 698 in the college entrance exam, right? 6. Do you even need to ask? ISNT that why you broke up with me back then? Yeah, what about it? I sounded a bit impatient. Philip went silent for several seconds, as if carefully choosing his words. So are you currently? At that moment, a male voice suddenly came through the phone. Hey Philip, your account is dead again. I can't hold on this player named Moan is too strong, you take over. I couldn't help but text Florence, are you fighting with Philip? Florence, that scumbag, I've had enough of him. I'll protect my woman myself. Me Florence, no more talking, let us kill him 100 more times today. Me don't tire yourself out, I'll bring you milk tea later. Just as I finished replying to Florence, I heard Philip calling out to that guy he is here. He seemed to have returned to his seat with constant keyboard clicks and low muttering under his breath. Probably just a coincidence with the same score, how could it possibly? I didn't quite catch that, what did you say? His tone suddenly became lighter. Oh, nothing, my roommate was helping me play just now another round. Me sure Florence here is just dying to take your head. I walked into the milk tea shop, and there weren't many people inside. 2 cups of grape cheese tea to go, please. Just as I was about to scan the QR code to pay, a hand suddenly reached out from beside me, beating me to it. Beep, confused, I turned my head and saw a boy smiling at me. Are you Patricia? I'm from the chemistry department next door. Can I add you on WeChat? I replied expressionlessly, sorry, I don't use WeChat. He looked slightly awkward. What about your phone number? Me, unfortunately, my phone is broken. How much do I owe you? I rummaged through my military training uniform, but realized I hadn't brought any cash. He seemed to notice and chuckled. Since your phone is broken, why not leave me your contact info? You can pay me back whenever you're free. I frowned, feeling somewhat annoyed. Just then a light, calm voice suddenly came from behind me. 34, right, I'll transfer it to you. I turned around and froze in surprise. The boy was also stunned. Pay senior pay. Nicholas handed over his phone. Didn't he want to add WeChat? Add mine instead. The boy's expression became indescribable, his gaze constantly shifting between the two of us. Senior, you too. Same department, easier to stay in touch. Nicholas seemed to smile with a meaningful tone, otherwise people might think our computer science department has no talent left. The guy's face instantly paled several shades, and in the end, he didn't dare add Nicholas on WeChat. Nicholas simply paid for 2 more cups on his behalf, and the guy hastily left with the milk tea. After some thought, I handed over a cup of grape cheese tea. Thanks, senior. He didn't take it, glancing down briefly before raising an eyebrow slightly. 2 cups, buying the other one for your boyfriend. I quickly waved my hands. No, it's for my friend. He nodded, but ultimately didn't take the milk tea. Probably doesn't like sweet things. We left the milk tea shop like that, walked for a while only to realize we were still heading the same way. Aren't you going back to the dorm? He glanced at the girls' dormitory we passed and asked. I coughed lightly. My friend lives across the street. I'm just delivering something to her. He wouldn't think I was deliberately following him, would he? Fortunately, he didn't press further and continued walking toward the school gate. He carried a backpack that seemed to contain a laptop. Rumors said he moved off campus during sophomore year to start a business with friends. Apparently, it was true. The guy spoke little as we walked. Passers-by kept stealing glances our way, their eyes brimming with gossip. I forced myself to make conversation. Senior, I think all the upperclassmen in our department are really nice. Nicholas paused mid-step and seemed to chuckle. All of them. I nodded repeatedly, yes. The legendary senior was like that, and so was Nicholas. People are surprisingly nice. Just as we reached the school gate, Florence was already calling me from across the street. Patricia. I said goodbye to Nicholas and ran toward her. Florence's eyes sparkled. Wasn't he that Nicholas, your school's heartthrob? How come you two were together? Me, you even know about him? Florence rolled her eyes. Come on, the confession wall at your school is practically split between the two of you. Fine, I said. We just happened to run into each other suddenly. I slapped my forehead. I forgot to add him on WeChat to pay him back just now. For the next few days, I kept trying to return the money. But Nicholas was as elusive as a dragon. Spotting him on campus was nearly impossible. I felt too embarrassed to ask around, so I decided to set it aside for now and wait for a better opportunity. The military training finally ended, and in the blink of an eye, it was National Day. Philip sent out an invitation. There's a VR gaming experience center downtown that's in trial operation. A friend of mine got a few tickets. Want to go together? Upon asking, I found out he'd sent the same message to several regular gaming buddies. We've known each other for so long, perfect chance to gather right. I wasn't planning to go initially, but I was genuinely curious about that gaming venue. After some deliberation, I poked the pro player. Senior, are you going? Pro player, you want to go? I answered honestly. I think it should be quite interesting. I'd like to check it out. Having company would be even better. After all, he's my direct senior from the same department, right? As expected, the pro player was extremely reliable. Then let us go. Although I felt a bit awkward about Philip, the first really wanted to see the other friends, including the legendary senior. So that morning I packed lightly, changed into a white shirt, jeans, and white sneakers, and set off. Someone in the group chat tagged me. Patricia, are you coming from school with the legendary senior? Philip also chimed in. It's pretty hot out. Should I drive over to pick you guys up? He didn't seem to mind at all about getting beaten up by me and the pro player earlier. No need, the senior said. He has some things to take care of this morning besides our school. ISNT that far from there, just half an hour by subway. Perhaps because his new girlfriend was also in the group chat, Philip didn't insist. Alright, we'll go first and wait for you at the entrance of the venue. The Gaming Experience Center was located downtown. As I walked out of the subway station, heading towards the square, a car suddenly pulled up beside me. An uncertain voice called out, Patricia. I turned my head and saw Philip driving up in a BMW with a meticulously dressed girl sitting in the passenger seat. I recognized him at a glance because he had recently changed his profile picture to his own photo again. It was impossible not to recognize him. Before I could say anything, I heard him exclaim excitedly, it really is you. I thought I was seeing things just now. The girl in the passenger seat looked a bit uneasy, eyeing me warily. Philip, who is this? Do you know her? Philip rested his hands on the steering wheel and nodded with a smile. Of course I know her. I have a friend in the same department as her. Oh, right, she is that girl from University A in our gaming group chat, you know, the one. Me. Philip eagerly asked again. Where are you going? If you have time, you should check out the new VR gaming center on the 3rd floor. It's still in trial operation. Regular folks can't get tickets right now. Actually, my friend just gave me a few tickets. It looks really fun. We could all go together. The girl beside him sounded displeased. Philip, the cars behind are honking. Let's south. Just park first, okay? Philip had no choice but to keep driving forward. By the time they reached the 3rd floor arcade entrance, they'd taken the elevator up from the underground parking and arrived a step ahead of me. The girl frowned slightly when she saw me, then hooked her arm through Philip's, pressing half her body against his. But Philip shook off her hand and walked toward me with delight. You came, what about the tickets? The girl stomped her foot. Philip, there are only a few tickets left. If you give them to her, what will we do when the others arrive? And there aren't enough. Philip seemed completely unfazed. What's the big deal? We can just get one more ticket. I finally couldn't help but interject. No need to trouble yourself. There should already be a ticket for me in there. Philip's expression instantly froze, and it took him a long moment before he managed to speak. What? I said I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Wanwan. Philip's expression instantly became extremely animated. Shock, disbelief, incredulity, astonishment. He even began to stutter when speaking. Why, you're saying you're... Just then the elevator doors chimed as 3 more people entered. 2 guys and a girl, all looking like college students. The girl must have heard me rushing over with wide eyes. Holy shit, you're Wanwan. I nodded. You're Josephine. She nodded vigorously, overwhelmed with excitement, finally managing to blurt out after a long pause, You're so pretty. She murmured in a daze. Before, I was thinking that your skills had declined slightly recently, and I was determined to push you to improve when you came. But now I just want to ask, can I stick close to you? This personality is somewhat similar to Florence S., and I couldn't help but laugh. That must have been my best friend, playing on my account. I've been a bit busy lately. She suddenly realized, oh, that explains it. I was wondering how you've been absolutely dominating recently, especially against Joe. Realizing her slip, she abruptly stopped. Ahem, studies come first. But Philip beside her had already heard. He seemed to recall something, his expression looking as if he were constipated. I changed the subject. This game developer has been really popular lately. Since we're on break, I thought it'd be nice to visit and also meet up with everyone in person. I then greeted the 2 guys behind her. Usually they're all talk online, but now that we've met face to face, they're being more reserved and polite than ever. Josephine looked around and finally asked if Philip didn't Hannah come. Hannah is Philip's new girlfriend. The girl beside him suddenly said that would be me. Josephine was taken aback and quickly apologized. I'm so sorry, I didn't recognize you earlier, so your profile picture isn't actually of you. Hannah's expression instantly darkened. That was taken during my vacation at the beach. Josephine was extremely embarrassed and whispered, the gap is just too huge. Who could possibly recognize P when he is this skilled? Hannah hasn't been playing with us for long, and her skills are quite pro. Nobody wants to team up with her. Only Philip indulges her by throwing money at the situation. Truth be told, we're not really close with her either, since she doesn't show courtesy. Others naturally don't give her much face either. Hannah turned on her high heels and strode back into the venue. A young man happened to come out from inside, and Philip immediately greeted him upon seeing him. George. He turned back to introduce him to us. This is my friend, who is really good at gaming. He asked the one who gave us the tickets this time. The guy named George smiled and explained, sorry about that, our boss suddenly showed up this morning. We were just tidying up the equipment, so I'm running late. 9-0, so this is the professional gaming companion Philip hired before. A male student said, with envy, pay to play gamers are just different, the VIP among VIPs. Ordinary people can't hire such a skilled coach, yet Philip not only managed to hire one but also got tickets from them. No wonder Philip looks so pleased with himself. His complexion has visibly improved. Today everyone can have fun to their heart's content. It's all on me. Most of the attendees today were students with limited budgets, so Philip's extravagant gesture immediately drew cheers. Legendary Mr. Zhou is the man. Is this what it feels like to be pampered by a big shot? I'm loving it. The crowd's teasing boosted Philip's ego, and he ushered everyone inside together with George. This VR gaming center covered a vast area with ultra-futuristic decor. As I walked through, only one thought crossed my mind: this owner must be rolling in money. George gave a tour of each section, saying, feel free to play whatever catches your interest. Josephine asked excitedly, the zero-gravity spinning saucer. Patricia, let us go together. I nodded sure. Philip chimed in, this ride seats 5 people, why don't we all go together? Hannah clearly didn't want to ride it. She tugged at his hand and cooed, Philip, I'm afraid I'll get dizzy. When do you come play something else with me? Philip coughed and glanced in my direction before pulling his hand away from hers. It's a rare opportunity. Why don't you wait here instead of going up? Hannah gritted her teeth. Then I'll stay with you. Josephine was already putting on the equipment with George's help when she suddenly asked, by the way, Patricia, hasn't your senior arrived yet? I shook my head, not sure, maybe he is still busy. Philip shrugged, what's so important that you'd miss today? It won't be this easy to come again. Josephine looked disappointed. I was really curious about him, but maybe we won't get to see him today. Patricia, have you seen him at school? Before I could say no, George suddenly looked up and called out, Nicholas. Me. Are there really this many people with the surname Pei these days? I instinctively turned around and a strikingly handsome face came into view. My mind went completely blank in an instant. Can someone tell me why Nicholas is here too? With his appearance, the surroundings fell silent for a moment. Josephine gasped and whispered, holy shit, who is that so damn handsome? Did your shop hire him to attract customers? No, George replied with a complicated expression, that is our boss. As his words landed, the entire venue grew even quieter. Nicholas walked toward me, and I instinctively held my breath. Step by step, as if treading on my heart, until he finally stopped right in front of me. My eyes widened slightly. Senior Pei, what are you doing here? The moment I asked, I wanted to bite my tongue off. This was his own shop. Of course, he could come whenever he wanted. Nicholas' thin lips curved slightly, his eyes carrying a hint of amusement. Didn't he want to come? My heart inexplicably skipped 2 beats. As he spoke, he gave a slight nod to the others who were already frozen in place. Welcome. I froze on the spot, feeling as if someone had smashed my head hard. My voice trembled as I spoke. Big boss. 10 dead silence. The air seemed to solidify. Never in my wildest dreams did I expect things to take such an absurd turn. The gaming god, and Nicholas are actually the same person. The others weren't doing much better than me either. I faintly heard some guy exclaim, "Holy shit." Josephine suddenly realized, covering her mouth in surprise. So George, when you were playing games with Philip before, did you already know the opponent was your boss? George looked aggrieved. If I'd known, would I have gone? Our boss is usually super busy. How was I supposed to know he plays that game all day? Nicholas glanced at him. If your skills aren't up to par, then practice properly. George shut his mouth and nodded repeatedly. At this moment, no one was more embarrassed than Philip. But no one cared. Nicholas handed over the equipment. There was a problem with the previous set. Try this one. My hands and feet numb. I took it, as if I hadn't regained my senses, yet scenes from earlier flashing through my mind. What had I just done? Oh, I asked the gaming god about Nicholas, saying I'm not someone who judges by looks, and then told Nicholas how great all the seniors are. Show-offs are common, but someone like me is rare. In that short moment, I'd already thought of countless ways to vanish on the spot. Distracted, I fumbled with the equipment for quite a while without getting it right. Just then a hand suddenly reached over from beside me and helped adjust it. Cool fingers lightly brushed past my ear. Click, there came the familiar cool voice in a low murmur. It belatedly dawned on me that was Nicholas's hand. My ears seemed to burn with fire. I coughed awkwardly. Well, I'll head up then. With that, I quickly turned around and took a seat nearby. After the game started, I immediately regretted it. The game's effects were incredibly realistic. Several times, I genuinely felt like I was falling from midair. Screams echoed in my ears, seemingly from Hannah. I clenched my teeth to keep silent, barely making it through the session. My insides felt completely turned upside down. Taking off the headset, Philip looked at me with concern. Patricia, you're pale. Are you okay? Me, you should check on your girlfriend instead. Hannah had been screaming the entire time, her eyes red and brimming with tears, her eye makeup slightly smudged. Philip finally turned his head. Mian, are you okay? I also started walking down, but as soon as my feet touched the ground, my legs gave way, and I actually started falling toward the floor. Yet just as I was about to hit the ground, a strong arm suddenly wrapped around my waist, holding me steady. The unique warmth and scent of a young man instantly enveloped me. Nicholas seemed to be smiling. Junior, your motor skills are indeed a bit lacking. My face burned crimson. 11 back during military training when I got pulled out for extra drills, he saw it, but I never imagined something even more embarrassing was waiting for me here. I immediately stood straight. Thank you, senior. Nicholas paused. Well, can you let go now? I looked down, and only then realized that in my panic earlier, I had actually grabbed onto his clothes, and one of my hands was even pressing against his abdomen through the thin fabric. His abs are so hard. No, Patricia, what are you thinking of? I quickly let go, and took a big step back. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Someone nearby seemed to be laughing. Josephine was the most excited among us. After playing this round, she was still full of energy, and went on to check in at several more game booths. Hannah seemed frightened, and refused to play anymore, leaning against Philip's shoulder as she cried for quite a while. Philip ran his fingers through his hair, looking somewhat impatient before finally asking bluntly, should I call a car to take you back to rest? Hannah stopped crying immediately, but still clung closely to Philip. Nicholas pointed, and said there are shooting games over there, want to give them a try. This is probably one of the few chances I have to save face. Why would I refuse? Sure, Nicholas said, leading me over. After a brief introduction, we both put on the equipment and entered the game. I finally realized how naive I'd been. A pro is still a pro after all. Later, I tried several other games. Nicholas clearly knew them all inside out, able to answer any question I threw at him with encyclopedic knowledge. Senior, I heard you started your own business in your sophomore year. Nicholas nodded with a few friends. I sincerely marveled. That's really impressive. Some people just succeed at everything they do. Where does everyone want to eat later? My treat, Philip, had somehow appeared beside us. Because of Hannah, he hadn't played many attractions and seemed in low spirits, whereas Patricia, any suggestions? Hannah was giving me a resentful look. But Philip either didn't notice her displeasure, or simply didn't care, pulling out his phone to search. There's a good Wagyu barbecue place on the 4th floor. I'm a member there. Should I call and make a reservation? I wasn't really interested. Even if I were going to eat, I wouldn't want to go with him and Hannah. I have something to take care of back at school later, so I wouldn't be joining you for dinner. Josephine looked disappointed. Oh, that's too bad. Let us plan for another time then. Philip wouldn't give up. What's the matter? Is it important? School as already on break? What could possibly be so urgent at campus? I nodded. Yes, very important. Seeing how resolute I was, Philip didn't press further. The moment I boarded the subway, I started frantically messaging Florence. My final text summed it all up. I've completely lost all the dignity I've built over 18 years today. How am I supposed to keep my head up in the computer science department after this? Florence fell into an eerie silence for a long while before finally sending. Wait, don't you think Nicholas might actually like you? 12. My hands trembled, nearly dropping my phone. Don't talk nonsense. Gods and mortals are different. Florence argued earnestly. It's true. Don't you think it's too much of a coincidence? If helping you teach that scumbag a lesson before was out of camaraderie, then what about later when he shielded you from those harassing you? And what about today, when he specifically went to the shop? For some reason, I recalled the moment I half fell into his arms and my ears burned. But wouldn't that be too presumptuous? What if he doesn't feel that way about me? Florence didn't respond. Just when I thought my internet had disconnected, she finally sent a faint message. I don't know if he likes you, but I'm absolutely certain, Patricia, you like him. Those words came crashing down on me, leaving me stunned in place. I instinctively wanted to refute them, typing and deleting several lines repeatedly until only the sound of my pounding heartbeat remained distinctly clear. Patricia Haven T, you noticed you never used to care whether someone had feelings for you or not. Back in the dorm, I originally wanted to take a nap, but I tossed and turned in bed, unable to fall asleep. Unable to resist, I opened WeChat. Florence's message was still stuck on that last line. If you like him, then go after him. Sigh, I sighed melancholically. I was indeed perpetually single before meeting Nicholas I. Never knew that liking someone could be such a complicated affair. Every emotion felt amplified, spiraling out of control. I stared at Nicholas's profile picture for a long while. How about giving it a try? After thinking for a long time, I finally came up with a reason. Senior, I've been meaning to treat you to a meal. Would tonight be convenient for you? A few minutes later, Nicholas replied, are you done with your work? I feel ashamed if he knew that my very important matter was actually just coming back to sleep. I wonder how he'd react. I'm done. I just wanted to ask if you're free, Senior. After a while, he replied, sure. I quickly started searching for nearby restaurants. But before I could make a choice, Nicholas sent another message, then let us go to the South Campus cafeteria. Me ISNT, this a bit inappropriate. ISNT, it too simple. Whether it's out of gratitude or courtship, eating at the cafeteria doesn't seem to fit the occasion. Nicholas, just go there. Alright then, I turned my head and started thinking about what to talk about with him during dinner tonight while also planning to apologize for the earlier misunderstanding. Josephine suddenly sent a message. Patricia, did you know Philip broke up with his girlfriend? 13 Me, Josephine passionately gossiped. After you left, we went to eat, and Hannah kept sulking the whole time while Philip was distracted. When it was time to leave, Philip said he had something urgent and told her to take a taxi by herself. She smashed a glass on the spot, had a huge fight with Philip, and stormed off. Me, good thing I left early. People like him breaking up and making up, changing girlfriends is just normal for him. Josephine, he must have seen you today and regretted it. I felt nothing. Anyway, we've already broken up. None of this has anything to do with me. But I never expected Philip to text me so soon. Patricia, I'm downstairs at your dorm right now. Can you come down for a moment? I rushed to the window and looked down to see Philip standing there holding a huge bouquet of roses. People were coming and going all around, occasionally glancing at him. Josephine was absolutely right. This man couldn't be more pathetic. I replied to him, just go home. There's no chance for us anymore. But he persisted. Patricia, I was wrong. I didn't treat you well before, but now I've realized you're the one I truly love. Give me another chance, please. No matter what I said, Philip just wouldn't leave. He stood stubbornly downstairs, clearly determined to wait until I came out. It's driving me crazy. Just as I was pondering how to resolve this matter, my phone suddenly rang. It was actually a voice call from Nicholas. I couldn't help but feel nervous. Taking a deep breath, I finally tapped to answer. Senior, come down. A cool, deep voice came through. I froze for a moment, then immediately looked outside. Nicholas had actually come too. He stood there tall and straight, exuding an air of cool indifference. Senior, what brings you here? He lifted his gaze, seemingly smiling faintly. Didn't we agree to have dinner together? In the end, I went downstairs. Philip looked at me, and Nicholas, his expression grim. Patricia, what would you mean by this? I really couldn't be bothered to waste words on him. Exactly what you think it means. He protested unwillingly, but before we clearly. You said it yourself, that was before I cut him off. You're allowed to change girlfriends, but I can't pick someone better. Forget everything else, just having Nicholas standing here means I've already won. Philip's face turned ashen, and he was speechless for a long moment. To my surprise, Nicholas suddenly spoke up. Since Patricia doesn't want to see you, I'll trouble you not to bother her again in the future. She might be willing to let bygones be bygones, but I'm not so forgiving. 14, I froze, turning my head in shock. What did he just say? Nicholas, however, seemed utterly oblivious to the burning gazes of gossip around him. Patricia, shall we go? It wasn't until we reached the restaurant that my senses finally returned to me. Philip threw the flowers down in a rage and stormed off, and then, looking at that handsome face with clean, elegant features across from me, I could hardly sit still. Senior, sorry about earlier. I panicked and used you as a shield in the heat of the moment. Nicholas raised an eyebrow. A shield? Are you saying you don't want to take responsibility? Me, he reminded me, everyone saw it. Me, he added, this is my first time having a meal alone with a girl. Is this what they call cheating? Although I didn't intend to pursue him, how did this end before it even began? Senior, wait a minute, I feel like something's not quite right here. I tried my best to calm down and sort through my thoughts again. This meal is my treat to thank you, right? Nicholas nodded yes. Then, that settles it. We. Only because it's you that I agreed, Nicholas said. The remaining words suddenly caught in my throat as I stared blankly at him. What? Nicholas's dark eyes gazed over as if carrying invisible hooks that made one's heartbeat quicken involuntarily. Flustered, I lowered my eyes. Then I heard him say with a laugh, you might not know this, but right now in their eyes I'm yours. My heart nearly leaped out of my chest, my cheeks burning hot, leaving only his words echoing in my ears, each syllable pounding like a drum. The other teammates fell into complete silence. Bestie, how is the meal going? By the time we headed back, dusk had already fallen. Florence had no idea about all the events that had transpired in just half a day and was still preoccupied with my relationship status. How's the pursuit going? I thought for a long time, but couldn't figure out how to respond. Nicholas was right beside me. Seeing me staring at my phone, he glanced over and asked, what are you chatting about? I reflexively turned off my phone screen. Oh no, did he see it? Nothing. Nicholas blinked lightly, so treating me to dinner today, not to thank me, but with ulterior motives. I wanted the corners of his lips curled into a smile, then tell her you've already succeeded. I couldn't help but stomp on his foot. Who wants to chase you? Then I turned and ran, but he still caught me effortlessly. He said with a smile, then let us say, I'm the one chasing you, okay? I looked up at the sky, who was chasing me? He suddenly pulled me into his embrace, cupped the back of my head, and made me look at him, as he said earnestly. At first it really was just helping out a junior a simple favor, but later that day after playing badminton when I saw you on the field, do you know what I was thinking? I was bewildered, and shook my head. He smiled, seemingly both helpless and indulgent. I'm glad I helped you earlier, otherwise if you got hurt later it would still be me, who'd feel the pain. The evening breeze brushed by, still carrying traces of warmth. He asked Patricia, will you be with me? Though you stole my line, I blinked yes. The end.